We're just 2 weeks away from WWE Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia, wherever the fuck Perth is. I don't know a goddamn thing about Australia, except for the fact there's Sydney, there's a couple other cities, and there's the big old outback, and that's not a knife. Thanks, Crocodile Dundee. And then we're on the show to WrestleMania in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, one of the greatest cities in the U.S. for professional wrestling. A lot of rich history in Philly, but first, I'm John Renton with my review of WWE Smackdown from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. At the top of this review, I don't know how many weekly SmackDown reviews I got left in me unless they amp up this show, because after the press conference, which I'll talk about here in just a little bit, I did watch it. It was a shit show. A hilarious shit show. And we did have some funny comments from CM Punk. He just doesn't give a fuck, talking about backstage fights and all that and punching people in the mouth. He was right to do that in the land of All Elite. Just want to say, look at what the Bucks are doing now. That being said, I might review next week's show, but the 23rd is going to be a taped show because they're going to be in Australia. And then I actually have to cover another shift. I have to cover a couple shifts the weekend, the first weekend of March. So I won't be watching or reviewing at least the 23rd, and I won't be watching the first just because I need a break. And they really are going to have to juice up SmackDown. They're really going to have to. So you might get intermittent SmackDown reviews. Nevertheless, this show was all right. It was fine, I guess. I don't have a lot to sink my teats into. I think I said that right. Anyway, so Spectrum Center holds around 20K. If they open the whole thing up, they had around 13K according to WrestleTix. That's good. And the Mania 40 press conference, look, I think that they might actually end up going with Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman and give the main event, give the Mania Night 1 main event to the women. I mean, I don't know if they're actually going to do that. They'll probably find a way to have Seth Pheasant Rollins in the, I don't know, 3 or 4 way for the world title. Yes, Triple H came out and basically confirmed that while people need to know their role, that the answers only come from one place and you're looking at him. Okay. They confirmed Cody and Roman. Rock's going to end up costing them. They're going to try to stretch this story out, probably until a big show in Madison Square Garden. That was your lot right there. Yeah, they introduced him as Triple H Paul Levesque. Okay. So, and Rollins is going to have a challenger coming out of Elimination Chamber. Whoever wins the Elimination Chamber. 12 people, including Here Comes Bronson. He's going to go down to Perth, Australia to fix the chamber. So, Drew shows off his new shirt and calls himself DM Hunk. I know who's thinking it. Stop thinking it. So, Orton and Zayn are also going to be on the show tonight because what is the brand split? Well, I know that Drew actually doing stuff, but just the Drew part because he's on Raw. I mean, whatever. Drew took on AJ Styles. AJ Styles is done after this year. Maybe he can stretch it to Mania 41. But he's in his almost late 40s, and he's on the gas like a few other people, but injuries and mileage have caught up with him. It was all right. LA Knight was on commentary because they're going to find a way to put him in either in the chamber, or maybe they actually do put him in the chamber, and he takes on Logan Paul at Mania, and they include a couple other people. They're going to include a lot of multi-person matches at Mania because they're going to want to get a lot of people on the card. Styles focused on the leg. Then he wanted to attack the good leg and switch to decaf. And then we got Styles sent into LA with his mind on his money and his money on his mind. Hey. And then a distraction after Styles had the roll-up, and then the Claymore 1, 2, 3. Not a bad match. It certainly was what it was. Sammy talks about Mania season. He has to win tonight. He doesn't. Pretty Deadly are on the dock, and they look up, and Queen Elizabeth is in heaven. She's not in heaven. She's down with the rest of the royal family in hell. I was hoping Jason Voorhees would show up and drag these two goddamn idiots down, and maybe they could come out of the water with a better gimmick. A gimmick that doesn't want to make me pull my hair out that I don't have. So, recaps of Bayley choosing Io. Bianca and Mia Yim Mia Yim, Mi Chin is stupid. I'm sorry, it doesn't roll off the tongue. But it's Chamber qualifier. They worked hard. Nobody cared about Mia Yim, and that's not to say that people on social media don't care. Nobody in the crowd really cared. Bianca was obviously going to win. They hit some good moves in KOD 1, 2, 3. Triple H talks to the young Steiner, Braun Breaker. And then Heyman shows up and says, that's a hell of a piece of talent. Oh, by the way, Triple H, Rock and Roman are going to be here next week. Rock and Roman, tweet. Maybe I will review next week's show. Maybe I will, just to see if they're going to stretch this shit out more. So, Bayley comes out to a... Excuse me. God, allergies are a fucking bitch. I apologize. Fans come out, come out in droves to cheer for Bayley. They just leave. They leave running from the bathroom, leave running from the concession stand. Bayley's here, hooray! Hey Bayley, hoo ha oh! I want to know if you'll once again be my girl. Is what they're thinking. Bayley appreciates the fans for loving her and appreciating her. How she put damage control in front of her own needs. Dakota shows up. Why didn't you talk to me? Why didn't you tell me? I wanted to tell you, but I was between a rock and a hard place. And then Io, Asuka, and Kairi show up to run a train on Bayley. Oh, I see, but when I want 3 Japanese women to run a train on me, then I'm suddenly taken to the authorities. Nevertheless, Dakota then feigns attacking Bayley with a chair before helping her. Dakota is going to get cleared just in time to turn on Bayley in Perth, Australia. I just want to say Perth, Australia, because it just sounds weird to me. But then again, I have nothing against Australia at all. I know nothing about Perth. So, apparently, they have a huge stadium there, though. Orton is determined to make it back to Mania. And then Lashley and the Profits and B-Fab are there. And look, maybe B-Fab has gotten better. She couldn't have gotten any worse as far as how she looked in the ring. They did throw her out there without having much training or anything. But I'm sorry, I don't see it. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. The lads, Dunn and Bate, took on DIY. The winner faces Judgment Day. The lads won. So then, Gargano got pinned. Unfortunately, he got rocked, so I hope he's alright, because it looked like he got hit in the nose. So, Owens will face Dominic next week. I don't think Owens can get something good out of Dominic, but we'll see. True shows up too and says, careful, don't get caught by Nick. Oh, you mean Tommy Nick? No, Nick Aldis. We want Truth chants. Very, very loud, by the way. So, nothing about Logan Paul's next challenger is what I wrote. And then Logan shows up and talks to Pierce and Aldis. And Logan Paul is going to take on The Miz in the qualifying match next week. He doesn't want to wrestle on TV. But you know what? They need to give him some TV match. And here we are. Next week, after Sammy makes his entrance, by the way, we go almost 7 minutes before we start the main event. Next week is Shotzi versus Tiffany and Naomi versus Zelina in qualifying matches. Zayn and Orton had a match that was what it was. There was a superplex spot. After Randy had said, I'm not ready for this moonsault, Randy hit a superplex and fucked his back up. Randy is done after this Mania. Or Randy is done by SummerSlam. If he makes it to next year's Mania, I will be amazed. I don't care how fused his back is, how much gas he is on. I don't care. Time and mileage. Father Time has caught up to him. He's done. RKO 1, 2, 3. And then Drew and Orton face off. So, that's your lot right there. Let me talk about the press conference, by the way. The Rock is going full Hollywood Rock. Or at least as close to Hollywood Rock as he can. They're going to try to build this thing up where it's going to be Rock and Roman. Tweet. At what was it, Mania 41? I don't know where the fuck they're going to have it. Hopefully in an indoor stadium, because outdoor, if they are going to run it in Minnesota, that is a bad idea. That is a really, really bad idea. You need to run it in a dome. You do not need to run it in an open-air stadium when you're running Mania in April, because too many bad weather patterns and all that. And also, I like what Punk said, and Rollins was just left there, like, always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Personally, I'm laughing at the fact that they went around their elbow to get to their wrist with this whole Cody Roman thing. I don't care. I actually hope Cody loses just because the discourse is going to be insane. Is Cody going to win? Maybe. He might. I mean, I keep flip-flopping back and forth. But next week, I may review Smackdown. After that, at least a 2-week break. And maybe a break until the Smackdown after Mania. I don't know. I don't know. This... I don't even have to rip up these notes, but it's a show that exists. And I don't think it's going to get much better when it goes to USA. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Rentlin. I'll see you soon.